Let's talk about Survivor 46, Episode 1. Hey, I'm Kathy Ellen. I am a preschool teacher. I am an avid reader. I am a Ninja Warrior athlete, and I'm a parent. So I'm using all those lenses to take a look at Survivor. I'm a huge Survivor fan. I want to be on the show. I have already auditioned, which I remind Jeff of every time I see one of those little commercial breaks. It's like, apply. I'm like, I have, Jeff, call me. I wanted to do this for me. So if anyone else is watching, welcome. Let's talk about the first episode. I have a timer going here for 20 minutes. That's all the time I'm going to give myself. And I probably am not going to edit all of my breaths out of this because I don't have enough time. I have 2 small children, and most of the time we can't even watch the Survivor episode as it comes out because my husband has a wonky work schedule and I don't want to watch it without him. So I'm just going to do this, and here we go. I take notes as I'm watching the episode, and it might be chronological, it might not be, it might be all over the place, but it's going to be about the first episode. I loved the first challenge. I love when they get muddy right away. It's really gritty. Those puzzle pieces looked huge, and I like that it at least had the design so you could make the steps. I love the energy of the people with a pole just flinging those keys. Like, they were not taking any chances, just when they had to run and go get it. For some reason, that just made me laugh so hard. I loved it. Good television, at least for me. The sweat and savvy challenge. The sweat challenge, I need to see some behind the scenes. I need to hear something. Maybe there's an interview that I'm missing. Could they not plug up the holes? That was my biggest thing. Like, you guys are just walking around with this bucket and water is just dripping out. So if they couldn't plug up the holes, yeah, that's really difficult. If they could, I don't know why they weren't using their buff or their body. Like, I was thinking you could hold it against your body like this, maybe. And obviously it's going to be a little weird to like walking like a penguin, but you could carry a lot more water. I understand why they wanted to quit, but I think that Q and Jelinski came out of that challenge a lot worse with their failure than Ben and Charlie did for the savvy failure. So the savvy failure, I give Ben credit. I did not see words about numbers in that thing at all. I think because the font was like a little funky. Fonts can sometimes throw me off, especially if it's Comic Sans. Get out of here. Or Papyrus. No, thank you. I do think though, and I'm not just saying this because they showed how to solve it, I think that I would have looked at the letters left over, because I think that they were crossing out the numbers, and then the numbers that like they didn't see and didn't cross out, they were using to do the number thing with the key. I would not have thought of that. I would have been crossing everything out. In my mind, I'm like, okay, we're crossing things out. What are we not crossing out? I have done a lot of puzzles like that fairly recently too. So maybe that's why that was on my mind. I thought it was a little tricky. I was rooting for them. I really was. But sadly, both of those tribes did not get their stuff. I love that Nami made that fire right away. The camp songs was great. We have the gecko. The gecko is so cool. I just was loving this gecko, and not just because I collected Beanie Babies when I was like way too old to be collecting Beanie Babies, like embarrassingly old to be collecting Beanie Babies. I just thought, wow, so cool that this got made. Although I was yelling at my television screen when they were trying to get the gecko over the top. So I mentioned before that I do Ninja Warrior training. We don't have to ever move like big geckos. We don't work together in a team. You just do your own obstacle course, like you run it all the way through. But you do have to kind of take a look at the course and figure out the skills that you have and how you're going to apply that to the course. I don't think anyone had practice with a 500-pound gecko, or so I've heard. That's how heavy it is. So I don't fault them any. I do fault them a little bit if Jeff is literally telling you, push up in the body. So we're watching it. I'm watching them try to pull the head over, and I'm like, they got to get in the body. Can they not stand in that part? Like, there were people on the other side. They needed to still be on this side. Can they not stand in that part and like shove the body over? And I didn't know why that made sense, but when I was looking at it, I was like, that's what they need to do. And then my husband's like, yeah, because if they're pulling on the head, that's actually even more weight that the people underneath need to push up. And I was like, yeah, there's the physics behind what I was actually thinking. But I just kept looking at it going, why are we not pushing on the body? And I know you just met these people. You have to all work together. You have to listen to each other. I would have been right underneath that gecko's body and just pushing it over. The puzzle, I think all 3 groups did a really good job on the puzzle, except Jelinski. Why are you just handing Jess the puzzle pieces? Like, she was doing so great. I think Jelinski could have been putting some pieces in around her. So I wasn't 100% surprised, honestly, to see that the Purple Tribe did not complete the puzzle and was going to go to Tribal Council. I was very excited because I was excited that Tiffany was going to get a chance to get her idol under control. I loved her energy throughout this entire episode. I love that she just knew what to do. She went right back there. She got into that puzzle very quickly too, and finding the words that she thought were like the 2-letter words and the 3-letter words. That entire thing was very impressive. that she could get all of that together and then also make sure there was enough time where she could talk to her alliance members and make sure it wasn't her getting voted out. Okay, going back to the journey now, I told you my notes are like all over the place. I cracked up when Jelinski folded. I honestly probably would have been the same way. Tevin did an amazing job. Like, you have to believe Tevin. I feel like if you are gonna lie and you have the skull card, you have to be a little more like, you gotta give a story to it. You gotta like really get into it. And Jelinski just being like, I have it, that's it, was sort of a tell. Maria is the major champion out of all of that though, because she just got into mom mode, and I am not trying to put mothers into mom roles. I'm just saying you have skills when you are a parent, and she pulled one of those out. She brought all the consequences to Jelinski, and then he folded. I think he could have came out of that a little bit better if he had gone back to his tribe and said exactly what happened, and then said, I tried my best, I tried to lie, and they sussed me out, and now I lost my vote. So if he was going to play that way, I think that he should have said to Tevin and Maria, hey, he should have said, hey, you know what? I just don't think that I can lie about this. I don't want to lose potential allies in the future with you two. I am going to tell my tribe that I tried my best to lie and you sussed me out. But in reality, I want to work with you. Like, I think that could have worked out well for him. But when he said, like, I give up, it just brought them back to hearing about how he gave up at the sweat challenge. And then when that boy got to tribal council, and he was saying, I will never give up again. And they're like, you mean after you gave up the other 2 times? I mean, I don't think there was much saving him there. Sorry. And poor Jess. The fact that she's not sleeping, get that girl some sleep. Come on, Jess. You can do it. I want you to get some sleep. I know you can. I'm happy that we heard from everybody at least a little bit in the very first episode, because I think even last season, there were a couple people that I was like, I don't know anything about them. Have we even heard from them yet? So thank you, CBS. That was great. Maria, we've already gone over. I love how she used her parenting skills, but she seems very savvy, very strong, very socially aware. So I'm looking forward to lots of great gameplay from Maria. Soda is so fun. And I love how she can be this like really outgoing, bubbly person and then get right down to strategy as well. So enjoy watching her play. Tiffany, like I said earlier, getting the idol and just keeping an eye out on everybody. I just feel like Tiffany has a really good head on her shoulders and is going to be a really good player. Tevin, I will listen to anything Tevin says. Really great storyteller. And I love that he knows how to like turn his acting on, but still be himself. You know what I mean? That is really great to watch, and I think is going to serve him really well in the game. I like that Venus did not want to be portrayed as the princess. And I like that she gave a little pushback when they were like, oh no, princesses are cool, you know? And she was like, no, that's not me. Like, that's not who I am. You can think that, but like, that's not really who I am. And I feel like Venus is not going to back down. She is a firecracker. I think we're going to see some really good gameplay and just like drama out of Venus. I look forward to that because she does not seem like someone who's going to get pushed around. She seems like someone who is here to play 100%. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And she could either flame out really early or make it all the way to the end. I don't know. Hunter, I really like that he knows himself. He is already looking at the tribe and going, uh-oh, I don't like singing campfire songs. That was part of camp I didn't like. So how am I going to fit in here? And I just like that strategy because you got to know yourself if you are going to make it on Survivor. Or so I think. I don't know. I think my audition video was pretty good. It pretty much is me in 3 minutes. Hunter did a really awesome job of going to someone he thought could help him and someone he thought he could work well with. And Andy Griffith, man, that is a blast from the past. I watch reruns of that. I am 40 years old, so maybe some people are missing it who are younger than me, but I just started whistling the theme song. I don't know if anyone else did. Jess, like I said, get this girl some sleep. I like that she is saying kind of like how she's feeling, but I do need her to like keep a little bit of that in, especially if you're like, I can't comprehend what people are saying. That's not going to instill a lot of trust and confidence in you, Jess. So please. Mariah, I like that she also was being really self-aware and figuring out like, am I being too much? Am I being too little? Am I, how am I doing this? I would love to hear more from Jem and Liz as we go forward. We got a little bit from them. I loved hearing from everyone. Just because I didn't bring up someone's name doesn't mean that I don't think they're going to go far. It just means I don't want to talk about them in this episode. I did really like the vest that was Ben's, right? And then Charlie wore it. What I'm looking forward to in the next episode, which as I'm recording this, the next episode is already out. So we're going to try to watch it here actually in a couple of minutes. I am looking forward to seeing if the purple tribe can like gel back together. I want to see what the other challenges are because I love watching the challenges. I wonder if there's going to be another twist. Are some other idols going to be found? What's Tiffany going to do with her idol? She seems to be in a pretty good alliance right now. If they don't go back to tribal council right away, what happens? I am intrigued to see if someone will try to throw a challenge to get their hands on that idol sooner. I do like that this Beware advantage is like you are given a chance to get your vote back before tribal council. There is that stress of like, you just lost, so you're going back and you have to figure out who you're going to vote off and you don't want it to be you, but also you need to try to figure out if you can get your vote back and get your idol, which Tiffany navigated very well. But I'd love to see other players navigate that as well. So I'm hoping that some more idols get found. And if a challenge gets thrown, I don't know. I just think that'd be really interesting. I don't know if they would do that this early in the game, but there are many ways to throw a challenge, I would think, and make it look like you are still trying your best, right? We'll see what happens. I don't anticipate that the purple team, that they are too thrown off about Zelensky being gone. And I don't think the other people in the other tribes are going to be too thrown off by that either. So I don't think it'll be a big shock. We'll see what happens in the second episode. I hope to see a lot more interaction with some of these players that we haven't seen a lot of interaction from before. And I would love another tribe to go to tribal council because I feel like that's when everything really tightens up or loosens up, or all of these kind of conflicts and stuff come out. Like you can be all happy and hanging out with each other. But then when tribal council comes, that's when S really hits the fan. So I hope that you enjoyed watching Survivor. What were your thoughts on the first episode? I will be back as soon as I can after watching the second episode. Thanks for watching.